Well, hello there.
Yeet.
Are we back again? This week's going by so fast, dude.
Yeah.
Really do be like that. But yeah, hope y'all are doing well. Today is another Thursday. Uh, we are 25 weeks down and 9 to go for this year's run of our recap shows for the Mike Medlin Scratch League. It's been a good year. I think it's pretty safe to say. It's that little bit of ups and downs, like just kind of thinking about it as a whole. Like we've just been some ups and downs for you, and obviously the last few weeks have not been the greatest, but it's definitely been a getting out of the rut. I feel like for you of trying to get pretty strikes versus just making good shots and knocking the pins down. I think for
Yeah.
you.
And I mean, I think it's a good thing that I had the several good months to kind of offset the other stuff. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that, yeah, I was hoping to average 220 this year,
Mm-hmm.
however that happened. And so far we're in good shape. I was almost at 230 and have had a couple rough weeks, but
Yeah.
there's time left and hopefully getting it figured out.
Yeah. And ultimately, and I think this is something I've been kind of trying to remind myself as much as anything is because I've bowled a series over my average once since Thanksgiving
Hmm.
this league, and so it that part kind of sucks to look up and see on the scoreboard week in and week out, but at the same time is like how different would it feel if I was, let's say if I average 230 for the first 20 weeks or so, like literally take my season and turn it around. So then, I have the, slower start where I'm averaging, about 230-ish through the first like 10 weeks.
Hmm.
And then I catch fire. And then two of the last 4 weeks, I shoot 800.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about it so differently than, oh crap, I've bowled it. Like I'm feeling like I'm in a tailspin almost, which I know
Hmm.
isn't. It's kind of a rationality versus, how do I say this? Like heart versus head, almost, I guess, for lack of a better term, of like, I know that I am still having an amazing season, but kind of trying to maintain that perspective rather than just focusing on the near term. It's hard. I
Hmm.
think that's one of the hard things of bowling a full season league like this in the first place is like it's a truly a marathon of sprints. And at the end of it, you just got to kind of take your licks and just kind of keep your head down each individual week almost.
Yeah, I mean it's 9 solid months, and so there's lots of stuff that can
Yeah.
go on, and obviously you want to work up. You'd rather start bad and finish good than the opposite. But I think it's for me, it's just just trying to force things the last um, month and a half or so instead of just kind of throwing what works, and it feels kind of dumb to just line up and just dump the summit down third arrow every single week, but at the same time, that's what's effective, and that's
If
the name
it's
of the game,
working, then yeah, who
knocking pins
cares?
down. And so it's just a thing of getting too creative or getting bored or something. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. No, and I mean that is kind of a good way to say it. I think of like getting bored plus getting too creative, too cute at the same time. I know that's something that's tripped me
Hmm.
up a couple times in the last couple months, and it's like, sure, I'm still bringing an arsenal tonight, but I mean, spoiler at the same time, spoiler alert, my game plan for tonight is throw the Black Widow 3.0 until it just will not strike and then give it four more frames. And if it still doesn't strike, then I ball change. Like that's literally my plan for tonight. So
Yeah, and it's been one of those things where I've wanted to not rely so heavily on, okay, well, if I can't just put the ball down, because that's virtually all I do is just sum it up third arrow.
yeah,
And if I go somewhere else and I can't do that, I'm going to be in trouble. But at the same time, I I bowl at this. It's not like I'm bowling at different places and doing nothing but that constantly. I'm bowling in the same place.
Yeah.
twice a week, every single week. And if that's just what works there, then there's no reason to screw with it just because I might need to do something different somewhere else. So,
Yeah, no, that is a good point. It's like think about like if I was bowling at Aaron's twice a week, that like there's no chance I'd be taking any of the stuff I have with me right now for tonight. Like
mhm.
my bag, my attack plan, my everything would be different. And ultimately, yes, it is good to kind of keep yourself from being too one dimensional, but at the same time, it can kind of get away from you sometimes, especially in a competitive league like this, where it's almost if you blink twice and you're doing the wrong thing, then you're all of a sudden behind 50 pins type of deal.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where if you're in the right place doing the right things, then you should be relaxed. And if you're relaxed and can just execute, it shouldn't be that big of a thing, but you can
Yeah.
actually screw yourself. I've gotten into some bad mechanical habits over the last month and a half trying to force things that just aren't working. And so that it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. The saying still holds true. You can't outbowl bad ball reaction, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. If you're just not
Well,
comfortable, it doesn't matter how good you are because even the pros, I
yeah.
mean, especially watching on TV these last couple weeks, watching
Yeah.
EJ Tackett miss the head pin left.
Yep.
I mean, if you feel like you're bowling in a phone booth, it doesn't matter who you are. Marshall Kent missed the head pin left twice in one
Yeah.
game.
Bill missed the
So
head pin twice to the right in 3 frames
yeah.
at the
So I
US
mean
Open.
it's
So
that's
yeah.
that's just the best illustration that no matter how good you are, how good you think you are, if you're not comfortable, it's just not going to work.
Hmm.
It's just your brain gets cramped up and bad things happen.
Yeah. Speaking of bad things happening, we snatched mediocrity from the. I'm going to say mediocrity from the jaws of disaster is kind of our theme from last week. Um,
Mhm.
and as you can see here, we were down 14-2 by what 100
Mhm.
after 2 games. That was not very fun, but
Yeah.
thankfully, so Jaden, so to explain what happened with our lineup, Matt Lennox tweaked his knee and was resting it because he had a big tournament last weekend, and Noah was not feeling well. So we ended up taking Jaden's absent at 218 and Noah's absent at 211.
Yeah.
And I mean, realistically, I think that's why we won the third game because the right side got pretty ugly. And, obviously Justin, DJ, and Jeff all had a really rough game three.
Yeah, I mean we could have it's not going to take a whole lot to beat 715, so
Yeah.
the only
So,
one that I'm miffed about is the first game because we lost by 26 pins, and I damn well know that we both could have found 20 pins somewhere, or
yeah.
10 pins, 15 pins apiece to get that. So the first game
Oh,
irritated me.
yeah.
They shot 920 the second game, so
That's fair enough. Yeah.
that's a whatever. And then the last game, it just all disappeared. And this is, if you look at it, 653 was the high live score on the pair.
Yeah.
Out of a team that set the
The team
series
that set the
record
set record last week. Yeah.
and the team that previously had the set record,
Yeah.
and the high set on the pair was 650.
Yeah. So it was definitely like, I was kind of thinking about it this way is like, and I think I was talking with my teammates about this from the league, the virtual league that I run for your Discord server. But it's like, sure, I could have thrown it better the first 15 frames. I could have started by just throwing my old trusted stuff instead of trying to get cute and playing games with what I think the pair is going to do rather than see what it is doing.
Mm-hmm.
If I do all of that, I genuinely do not see a way that I shoot more than 680 on that.
Yeah.
That's if everything goes right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't think there was that much on the right side out there. Obviously, DJ shot 260 the first game, and then was on his way to another one, game two, and then it just kind of fell apart on him.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's my worst set of the year by 40. And if that holds for the rest of the year, I'm good with that, regardless of where my average ends up. Like this, obviously I was massively uncomfortable with my first ball reaction, and I think I split twice. I want to say 2 or 3 times in the first 2 games, and then found something and put together a 6-bagger game, 5 or 6-bagger game 3 with a 3.0. But the tough nights are going to happen. That's just a fact of life, realistically. And I think if we can survive that against a team, one of the very resurgent teams of the second half, if we can have that tough of a night on a tough pair against a surging team and we get 15 off them, I hate to sound like a certain South Carolina political candidate, but even though we lost, I think we can count this as a win.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was one of those times where it's a fun group of guys to bowl against. Stebbles league with Steve all last year. Jeff was on my team in Scratch League last year, and they're both a couple of guys where if I have a chance to draft them, they're very high on my draft board just because they're great guys, great teammates, and know how to bowl.
Yeah.
And then Justin and DJ are a lot of fun to hang out with too. Justin, I'm actually going to kind of keep an eye on him for next year as well.
Yeah, he's on the list.
Yeah, so you and I are going to be fighting over a lot of people on the draft board next year, I think.
Yeah, assuming I don't keep shooting 615 every week and
you won't
pull my way out of it.
I believe you walk in. I dare you to walk in with a 2-ball tonight.
Yeah,
Summit and spare ball.
Yeah,
I've heard worse ideas. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If I was a lefty, I'd think about it.
Yeah, and that's what Eric said here, and that's what really needs to be the thing. Is it used to be that Friday was the night to try different balls out and whatever else, and I've just tried to force new stuff into the lineup because I wanted to throw them, and it just hasn't been a good idea. So I did stick around and practice after Friday Night League last week and through another 8 games with the 3.0, and I've gotten pretty comfortable with that one now. I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on that and where that can be. I put some surface on my theorem, but I think it's just I can't and shouldn't be throwing anything like that.
A little too fast for kind of what you like to do.
It's just too much
on house.
Yeah, it's just too much and too fast. The 3.0 is kind of a smoother version of it. It's not as clean, it's not as fast, but it's kind of the same. It's a very similar shot shape, I get. It's not really a similar shot shape. It's a similar, the balls act similarly.
Similar zone play.
Yeah. It's just
a little more controlled for
they act different more different front to back than they do left to right.
Oh yeah, no, I could totally see that. I think a couple weeks ago I actually threw my theorem basically on the same line as my 3.0, trying it on a fill ball, and it worked out. Oh, Jason Nelson might be joining in. Nice.
Tobias is gonna do it too. So
sick. That'll be a lot of fun.
It's just way too good of a league to.
Yeah. Exactly. I threw my theorem basically on the same line as my 3.0 when we bowled Johnny's team a couple weeks ago, and the theorem kind of went a little longer, came off of it a little harder, and got a touch behind it. But and I think I also have a little more surface on my 3.0 than you have on yours.
Yeah, I let mine lane shine mostly just because I have to get the ball down the lane.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Mine's at like 2,000 grit with about 4 or 5 games of lane shine on it. So not quite not as shiny as yours, but also not super chalky at the same time. So that's been one that I've been leaning on quite a bit. Also, it's kind of a first look out of urethane on shorter patterns recently. But yeah, I think ultimately 15-17 in winning total pins, which is hilarious. It's like the second or third time we've done that this year.
Yeah, but normally we do it by shooting like 950 the last game instead of 840. They just fell off the planet, which
it happens.
We'll take it. I mean, again, it's
like I said, we're surging team, and we got 15 off of them on a not very good night, and I think we can take that. Which actually is a really good segue. Speaking of surging teams, this week we have Danny Bradley and company. They were definitely on the struggle bus in the first half. Danny think Danny had high average in the league last year,
Yeah,
and 8 weeks in
the,
was 205.
yeah, that's the night that we went buck wild there.
Yep. So this was
by 420 pins, 425 pins.
Yeah, that was
That's
the night.
nuts.
Yes, I mean that was up until 2 weeks ago. This was the high 30 for the season for the team high 30 for the year.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll be the high 120, but whatever. Who's counting that? Obviously, a phenomenal night for us. 9 and 10 has been the best pair in the league this year, scoring wise. So that also helped a little bit. But I mean, we were all just, bang, bang, bang. We were on from shot one pretty much, I felt like.
Yeah.
And even Jaden's 179, it was one of those, I think, where she kind of outbowled her score almost.
Yeah, it was one of those weird ones where everything just went wrong for a game.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we are bowling most of Danny's team again this week.
Mm-hmm.
The one change in their lineup is Megan is no longer on their active roster. She and her husband Hunter are expecting their first kid in about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that.
Yeah, she's not too
and
far
so
off.
Yeah, and so Hunter has taken her spot on the roster. And so this is the lineup they've been using for the last several weeks. So it's been Hunter, Tyler, Alex, Danny in that order.
Mm-hmm.
And so realistically, I think it's kind of a close enough thing from a lineup perspective for them. And Danny's been on such a heater the last several weeks, anyways, that
Mm-hmm.
I fully expect that this is just going to be a very plain vanilla lineup decision on both sides for both us and them.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is going to be a little more interesting tonight than last time because Hunter is a lower speed two-hander. He likes to curve it.
Yeah, he could Brent Coolman territory.
Brent Coolman, but not nearly as much rev rate and not as heavy of a hand, but
mm-hmm.
same type of lane play ideas. And then Matt is pretty comfortable curving it a little bit more as well, and Danny just starts at fourth arrow.
Yeah, Danny.
So
Danny
there's a very real chance that this could be one of those nights where it's like I'm either playing 12 or 25 at the arrows. Like that's kind of what this night feels like it could turn into a little bit. So I'm gonna give playing a little bit straighter a look, but historically on 7 and 8, I've been better curving it than going straight. So might just kind of lean into that and kind of let the chips fall where they may. But you're alone tonight, which I think will be helpful. And then Tyler, I think, plays a little bit on the straighter side. So he and Noah and Alex will just kind of be in their own little world.
Yeah.
Each of them kind of doing their own thing, I feel like. Mark Luke is still covering other brands, FYI. So he's not just looking at Hammer stuff or even just Brunswick stuff. He's still got reviews for SPI and possibly a Motive Baller 2 coming. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nudge, wink, wink. Shrug, shrug. But no, I think it'll be. This is. I feel like I say this a lot of weeks. But this is just a fun team to bowl against. Danny is the man, and Hunter and Megan are both awesome. And Alex is a good dude. I always enjoy kind of talking shop with him a little bit. But Alex works at Jayhawk Bowling Supply as well, so he kind of gets the industry side of it a little better than most.
Yeah.
Pairwise, 7 and 8 is right up there, like 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 are just kind of a quarter notch behind 9 and 10.
Yeah.
David, if I shoot 774, I'll be very happy. I haven't shot that much in a long time in this league. So, 7 and 8 has been a pretty good pair for us. We shot versus Bo's team and took 21 off a crouch, both in the first half. Last time we saw it was week 14. And then Danny's team, I almost want to just kind of throw out the matches in week 7 and week 11 because they're a totally different team in the second half.
Yeah, they're just.
It feels like
they got things figured out. They just didn't bowl that great the first half as a team, and here recently, yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to show up.
Yeah, no, I think that is kind of the overall kind of takeaway here for me, at least, is even though they on paper, in theory, 37 and 59, 210 average on one of the higher scoring pairs in the house, you almost kind of have to forget about that a little bit and just know what they're capable of and kind of, cinch the belt, get the belt cinched up an extra notch, get your shoelaces double knotted, and let's go to work. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it, at least. Equipment wise, obviously, you're. You were talking last week about the fit changes you made. How's that been going?
It's been going fine if I can let go of the ball.
Minor detail.
But yeah, I've got a couple more balls I want to reslug. But I think tonight, it's going to be I might bring both summits, my old one and my new one, and then the 3.0, and I think I'm going to get my Ultimate Defender reslugged because I like that one quite a bit.
Okay. Is the Ultimate kind of a bigger 3.0 almost for you? Use case, or how does that? How would those fit if you were to bring both of them? I guess that's what I'm.
They're pretty different shapes.
Okay.
The Ultimate Defender is more of a Nova type of shape.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little bit. It's going to be somewhere in between. Well, and that's the funny thing too, is that the 3.0 really isn't that fast, but for me, it's everything sharper on the left side. So basically, what I've got is I've got early and slow in the Summit. The Ultimate Defender is a little bit longer, a little bit faster, and then the 3.0 is even a little bit faster than that. It's about the same. The 3.0 is about the same length as the Ultimate Defender. It's just more of an archy shape instead of that kind of tumble.
Yeah.
And the 3.0 revs up more. The Ultimate Defender is, again, kind of like a Nova. It doesn't really rev. It just kind of tumble, and then it kind of walks in. So
yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's not quite of an early. It's not as early and slow of a tumble as the Summit is.
Yeah. So you're almost kind of leaning a little more into the shape subtlety difference with that bag, if that's what you're looking for tonight.
Yeah, because I mean, those general strengths, if I go too much weaker on the strengths, then it's just going to make everything more sensitive. So I've got to have a certain amount of strength to blend the lane out, but I can't have too much because then I can't get the damn ball down the lane. So it's just without having to get into fourth arrow, and then you get into fourth arrow and you just ask for problems. Really, it's one of those things like, oh, I can get the ball down the lane now, but I'm giving up this other thing. It's all a catch-22. So
yeah, no, that makes complete sense. Just kind of getting into the kind of more stable side. One thing that I have been curious about, and I don't know if I've really talked to you about it all that much, is your new blue versus your summits. How does that compare?
It's really weird because the summits are a ball down from the new blue. The new blue actually gets traction earlier and it's faster, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But
because bowling math.
Well, and because I wanted to let my new blue shine up because it just seems like it'd be the perfect league ball for me on the left side. And it's just, I've tried to use it. I've gotten it out a couple weeks and whatever else, and they both read the lane the same way. It's just the new blue is a little faster down lane. And so, yeah, I ended up bowling down off of my new blue into my summit to start with on Friday, I'm pretty sure.
Makes sense.
Or I started with the 3.0 or I don't know.
I think you started with the 3.0.
I can't remember what I did on Friday. Well, yeah, I should have started with the Summit, but I wanted to throw the 3.0, and so that's what I started with. And then I think I just ended up in the Summit later.
Yeah,
or I might not have ever switched. I can't remember. All I remember is that I was throwing, like I was hitting the pocket with the Summit, and I was kind of using that in practice as a kind of a benchmark to see, okay, what does this one do versus the Summit? What does this one do versus the Summit?
Yeah.
I was in the same place doing the same thing. They were reading in the same place. But the new blue is just faster down lane.
Just more of everything once it starts up.
I just don't understand.
That's kind of wild. Bowling is weird, dude. Bowling is really, really weird.
But the new blue does have that kind of stick to the lane feel where it just feels like it reads the lane the entire way down. And it just, it's just a different kind of feel.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So, yeah, for myself, I think it's just going to be like I said, it's just going to be a super duper simple night. 3.0 NV Tour Theorem, and then I haven't decided on what weak ball I'm going to bring with me. I'm essentially kind of almost in coin flip territory between my Ocean Vibe and my Fireball. Probably going to be a game time decision when I pack up to leave them, which one I grab, but just something a little weaker symmetrical, but that will still like pull up and roll through the pins properly. Because realistically, assuming things are roughly what I think they're going to be, I think this pair is going to get really crispy, and I want to make sure I have a couple options to kind of deal with that in different ways, which is why the Theorem and a weaker symmetrical ball are both going to come with. Probably not the Scorpion, to be honest. That just feels a little too close to the NV Tour for this particular situation. So just kind of keep it simple, hit the pocket a bunch, and hope for the best.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, take a look at the standings. I think we can get out of here.
Oh, yeah. Standings. Sorry, I forgot about that. So I think we lost one spot. Yeah, we were in 7th. And then Rob Wagner's team barely went around us. We fell to 8th after last week. So, I mean, we're still like, even sitting in 8th, we're 15 and a half out of 3rd.
Yeah.
And what is that? 28 and a half out of the lead. So it's still like, excuse me. I'm not going to call us to win the half, but I mean, we did just basically chop with the team that was in first, so we didn't lose any ground to them, which is good.
Yeah.
I still think if we have a couple of really solid weeks coming up, then we can, kind of make a run at it a little bit and kind of see where things end up. I didn't realize Danny's team was all the way down there. I felt like they had been putting up a lot more points than that recently. Is there history?
Except for last week.
Well, yeah.
820, 690.
Yeah. They might have just gotten 1 and 2, honestly.
Yeah, there is that.
Let's pull this up. Grab their team history. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully, y'all can see enough of this. Sort of. Okay, so 2350, 2512, 2622, 2485. Oh, wait, that's first half. Sorry. 2558, 2683, 2592, 2516, 2330. Okay, so it was just they've been putting up decent scores, and they just had one really tough week.
Yeah, they're bowling better. It's still not like big stuff, but
yeah. Everybody was down game 3 on the pair though, because like game 2 was 1740 scratch. Game 3 was 1525.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody had a rough game. It just kind of bit them a little bit harder. It looks like. So, new week, new challenge, and I guess we will have to see what happens. I might see if I can. If my mics are charged, I might do another recording tonight. I'll have to figure out where they are. I think they're still in a box somewhere. I'm still in. That's the other thing is I think part of why I bowled bad last week is I was in the process of the chaos of moving and just done like a crap ton of stairs on Wednesday, and my legs just were kind of dead. So I don't think that helps. So hopefully that'll be a little better tonight as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's kind of a look at what we got this week. Nothing too crazy. I think it'll be a fun night. Just got to kind of keep it simple and take care of business, and I think we'll be okay long term.
Yeah, I think we just need to simplify things again and get back to, because again, it was just a little too creative at the beginning of the year, and then it was then settled down and started winning, and then it's like, okay, well, we're obliterating people every week. We're just not gonna change anything. And then the half flipped over, and it's kind of like, oh, just I don't know. For me, it just kind of
Whoopsie
felt
doodles.
like,
Yeah.
but I was really busy at the beginning of the year too, so January just sucked in general, and
Yeah.
I mean, you just need to whatever. Bad month and a half.
Yeah, it is what it is. Could be worse.
Gets me in a better draft position. I don't want to average too high, you understand?
Yeah. Imagine sandbagging in a scratch league.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably got to get out of here. I got stuff to do. I know you do as well. So
yeah.
I'll see you when I see you.
Yep. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We will catch you next time.